For as long as humans have been around, we've had this deep, almost magical connection with forests. They gave us everything: food, shelter, a world to explore. But that relationship has definitely changed. In this explainer, we're going to dig into what our forests really mean, the incredible pressure they're facing, and what that means for every single one of us. Seriously? Just pause and think about that for a second. What if you woke up tomorrow and they were all gone? What would the world even look like? What would it feel like? It's a pretty intense question, I know, but it gets right to the heart of why we absolutely need to understand what's at stake here. So first up, before we can even talk about the threat, we have to truly appreciate the incredible treasure we stand to lose. Their value is just immense, and you can kind of break it down into three big areas. Economically, they are a total powerhouse, giving us everything from the paper we use to actual life-saving medicines. Ecologically, well, they're basically the planet's lungs and its guardians. They keep our climate stable and protect the very soil beneath our feet. And then, on a deeply human level, they hold such huge cultural and spiritual meaning for communities all over the world. And get this, think about the sheer explosion of life we're talking about. Tropical rainforests, right? They cover less than 7% of the Earth's land, but they're home to more than half of all known species. That's just an unbelievable concentration of life, like a giant living library that we're only just beginning to read. But here's the thing. This incredible treasure is being wiped out at a truly alarming rate. Let's take a look at the sheer scale of what's happening, this great clearing. The official term for it is deforestation, and it's exactly as bad as it sounds. The permanent, total destruction of native forests. We're not just talking about cutting down a few trees. We're talking about erasing entire ecosystems from the map. It's no wonder it's considered one of the most urgent problems facing our planet today. So how bad is it really? Well, this is the area of forest that we lose every single year, 12 million hectares. It's a number so big it's almost impossible to even wrap your head around it. So to make that giant number make sense, think of it like this. An area the size of a football field, gone. Every single second. When you hear it like that, the urgency becomes crystal clear, doesn't it? And when we zoom in to a national level, you can really see the challenge. Take India, for example. Right now, the total forest cover is just over 24%. But the national goal, the number they need to hit for both ecological and economic health, is 33%. That is a pretty significant gap that needs closing. So what's behind all this? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a whole mix of powerful forces. We've got a growing global population that needs more land for farms and cities. We've got huge mining operations clearing massive areas. And on top of all that, you have things like forest fires, overgrazing, and even pest attacks that just keep adding to the pressure. But, the impact of all this isn't just environmental, not by a long shot. There is a profound and often heartbreaking human cost, especially for the people who actually call these forests home. This central conflict, so much of the time, really boils down to this: conservation versus development. And here's the kicker. A lot of the world's most precious forests just happen to be sitting on top of incredibly rich mineral deposits. So you get this direct clash between short-term economic wins and the long-term health of the planet and the survival of local communities. This quote just perfectly captures the heartbreaking irony of it all. You have these tribal communities living in lands that are overflowing with natural resources, yet they are often the poorest people. They're surrounded by this incredible wealth that's being pulled from their land, but they almost never see the benefits. So imagine a giant mine or a new dam gets built. Suddenly, thousands of tribal people can be forced off their land. They're pushed out of this natural, informal economy where the forest literally provides everything, and they're thrown into a money-based system they're totally unfamiliar with, usually with zero preparation or support. They lose their homes, their food, their medicine, their culture, everything, all at once. Okay, so this all sounds pretty dire, I know, but this does not have to be the end of the story. The situation is absolutely critical, but it is not hopeless. There are clear, real strategies we can use to protect and even restore our forests. So here's a path forward. It starts with actively planting more trees and bringing degraded lands back to life. It means finding new materials to replace timber so we don't need as much. And it's about managing the forests we do have in a sustainable way.
We also need to get better at monitoring all of this, using tech to track deforestation in real time. But honestly, maybe the most important step of all is that last one, involving the local communities.
And a fantastic example of that is something called Joint Forest Management, or JFM. This is basically a partnership where local communities, the people who know the forest inside and out, work directly with government departments. The community helps protect the forest, and in return, they get to share in the benefits. It's a model where truly everybody wins. So we end up right back where we started, but hopefully with a whole new perspective. Our future, all of our futures, are completely tied to the health of our forests. They aren't some separate thing way out there. They are a fundamental piece of our planet's life support system. So the final question isn't just for governments or big organizations, it's for every one of us. What role are we going to play in protecting them?